Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn clauses, phrases, prepositional phrase, finite and non-finite verbs, infinitives and gerunds. First, let us start from clauses. A clause is a group of words that contains both a subject and a predicate. Here, subject means a noun which comes first in a sentence. Okay, and predicate tells what the subject is doing. Okay, or else what the subject is. That is known as verb. Okay, predicate means it mentions the verb. So there are two types of clauses. They are independent clause and dependent clause. First one, independent clause. So independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb that express a complete thought. Okay, and also known as main clause. This independent clause is also known as main clause, which gives us complete sentence. So they can stand alone and express a complete thought. Example, I need a book. Here there is subject and as well as verb. And it gives us a complete thought. The sentence is meaningful. Okay, but dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb. Here also it has a subject and a verb, but does not express a complete thought. Okay, it is also known as subordinate clause that contain a subject and a predicate. Predicate means verb, but they do not express a complete thought. For example, when it is raining. When it is raining, what happens? The sentence is not fulfilled. There is no meaning at all. So this is known as dependent clause. So it used to depend on other half of the sentence. Let us see few more examples. First example, Kalpana wants to buy a phone, but she does not have enough money. So let us separate this sentence into two. Okay, where can we separate it? Where there is a comma or else a conjunction. Okay, here in this sentence, but is a conjunction and there is a comma also. So let us separate this sentence into two. So this is the first half of the sentence. Kalpana wants to buy a phone. Does this sentence gives us meaning? Yes. So it is known as independent clause. So let us read the other half of the sentence. She does not have enough money. She does not have enough money. So this sentence is also giving us a complete meaning. If we join this sentence, but, it is not a complete sentence. But if we didn't take this but, now read the sentence. She does not have enough money. So it gives us meaning. So it is an independent clause. Second sentence, if you don't study well, you won't pass the exam. So let us separate the sentence where there is a comma. If you don't study well. If you don't study well. Does this sentence gives us meaning? If you don't study well, what will happen? So there is no meaning in this sentence. So this is dependent clause. Let us read other half of the sentence. You won't pass the exam. And the sentence gives us meaning. You won't pass the exam. So it is independent clause. This half of the sentence is dependent to this independent clause to give us meaning. Okay. Kavin bought a car which was too expensive. Here, which is the conjunction? Kavin bought a car. This sentence gives us meaning. So this is independent clause. Which was so expensive? Which was so expensive? The car. But we have separated this sentence into two. So, if we take this half of the sentence, it doesn't give us meaning. So, it is dependent clause. It depends on this half of the sentence. Without this half of the sentence, it doesn't give us meaning. Okay. Sanjay is a talented player, though he is out of form. So this half of the sentence gives us meaning and it is independent clause. But this half of the sentence doesn't give us meaning, so it is dependent clause. There are three main types of dependent clause. So this dependent clause is having three types. They are adjective, adverb and noun. So this adjective clause describes or gives more information about a noun. So it tells us about a noun. Okay, for example, the book that I left on the bus belongs to Mr. Bhaskar. Okay, so the book that I left on this bus. So it describes about the book. It gives information about the book. So it's a noun. So the book is left in the bus. So that book belongs to Bhaskar. Are you able to understand this sentence? So a noun, it gives us information about the noun. Next, adverb clause describes or gives more information about the verb. So it explains or describes or gives more additional information about the noun. So it tells us when, where, how, to what extent or under what condition something is happening. So it describes about how the work is done, how the verb is done, and when it is done, how, when, where. So all those things. Example, she was happy because her father gave her a watch. So why she was happy? She was happy. Why? What is the reason? Because her father gave her a watch. So what the father gave? A watch. So only she was very happy. A noun clause takes the place of a noun in the sentence. So a noun clause takes the place of a noun. This is the best route that I know. This is the best route. Okay, so here the route is a noun and as well as I is a noun. So it takes place in a sentence. Okay, now let us learn what is phrase. A phrase is a group of words that forms a meaningful unit, but it is not a complete sentence. In other words, it does not have a subject or a verb. So this phrase does not consist of a subject or a verb. Okay. In clause, we know that there will be a subject and as well as a verb. But here in phrase, there is no subject or a verb. For example, the black hat, blown away in the wind. The red umbrella was blown away in the wind. Okay, but here the red umbrella is a phrase. It doesn't give us meaning. But look at this sentence. Was blown away in wind. It was blown away in wind. So it gives us meaning. But here this half of the sentence is known as phrase. Okay. There are several kinds of phrases in the English language. Some of the common ones are described below. A noun phrase. A noun phrase is a group of words made up of noun and its modifiers. So a noun phrase is made up of a noun. The white car. Okay, the car is a noun here. My English teacher. English teacher is a noun. My also is a noun. The bookshop. So book, shop, both are noun. Example, the pink house. So here the pink house is a noun. Verb phrase. A verb phrase is a group of words that made up of a verb, helping verbs and modifiers. Ran quickly to catch. Ran, catch. Those are verbs. Filled with horror. Dedicated to. You have woken up everyone in the house. So these words are known as phrase, and have woken up is a verb phrase. Next one is prepositional phrase. The prepositional phrase is a group of words that begin with a preposition and help to explain the relationship between two things. So we all know what is preposition. In, on, at. All those words are prepositions. Okay. On the boat. Over the tree. So this on, over, in, all those words are preposition. Okay. And they come before a phrase. The present inside the big box is mine. Here the big box is a phrase and the preposition is inside. So it's a prepositional phrase. Now let us see the exercise. Identify the dependent clause or phrase in the following sentence and underline them. Texting on his phone, the man screwed into a ditch. So texting on his phone is the clause here, dependent clause. It gives us meaning. Texting on his phone. What he does, texting on his phone, what happens? So it doesn't give us meaning. So it is independent clause. It isn't necessary to cram all night. If you have studied a little each day. So if you have studied a little each day, what will happen? So it is a dependent clause. We climbed up the hill to enjoy the view. Here, to enjoy the view is a dependent clause. I enjoy painting. So it gives us meaning. But look at this half of the sentence. During my holidays, it doesn't give us meaning, complete meaning. So it's a dependent clause. It depends on this half of the sentence. Okay. Whether he attends the party or not, I have decided to go. Here, I have decided to go gives us meaning, but here, whether he attends the party or not, what will happen? He doesn't know. So, this half of the sentence is dependent clause. I will stop playing the drums when you go to sleep. So, here when you go to sleep is a dependent clause. So, next one. Complete the following sentence using appropriate prepositional phrase. I would like to order coffee dash tea instead of tea. So, without ordering tea, he wants to prefer coffee. Dash the rains, we went out. So, in spite of the rain, we went out. Even it is raining, we went out. Dash fire, break the glass to escape. In case of fire, break the glass to escape. So, if there is a fire, you break the glass to escape. I am standing here on behalf of my friends. We solved the problem by means of a new device developed by our engineers. In general, we are impressed with their performance. Now let us learn what are non-finite verbs. A non-finite verb is a term used to describe a verb that does not indicate tense. So that verb does not indicate the tense. The non-finite verbs are called gerunds, infinitives and participles. Finite verb, a verb that indicates tense and changes according to the subject. So this finite verb, it indicates the tense, but non-finite verb does not indicate tense and does not change according to the subject. Okay. So finite verbs change tense and number according to the subject. Arun invited Suresh to his daughter's birthday. So here invited is the verb given. Okay. So it changes according to the tense. Her friends presented the girl with a toy. So here presented is the verb and there is a change in tense. So past tense. His friend presented a watch. Here also presented is the verb and it indicates the tense. It changes according to the subject. Non-finite verbs have no subject and do not change according to the tense or number. Non-finite verbs are broadly classified as follows. So gerunds, infinitive, present participle and past participle. So gerunds are mentioned as verb plus ing. Walking is a healthy habit. So here we have added ing with verb, that is present participle. Here infinitive. Here before verb we used to. In infinitive we use to before a verb. And here gerunds we use ing with the verb. And present participle. Okay. These are my walking shoes. Past participle. Having walked a long distance, I felt tired. put the action words in bold. Identify whether they are either finite or non-finite verb. They want to try a new approach. To try. So we saw here, seen here that infinitive, that is, we use to before verb. So here also it is to before a verb, and so it is known as non-finite verb. Trying is easy. Here gerund is given, verb plus ing. So it is also a non-finite verb. Having tried everything, he gave up. So here past participle is given here. So it is non-finite verb. All I can do is try. There is no tense here. Okay, try is the verb here and there is no tense given. So it is finite verb. If she tried, she would scare. So here this tried is a finite verb. Infinitives and gerunds. The infinitive is often called as to verb. So we have to add to before a verb. Okay. To swim is a good exercise. I like to swim. So swim is the verb here and we are adding to before that verb. Okay. So infinitives may be used without to, and we call such infinitives a plain infinitive or a bare infinitive. So she made me do my project. So we use plain bare infinitive with these models. The infinitive may function as a subject, direct object, subject complement, adjective or adverb in a sentence. Although an infinitive is easy to locate because of the to plus verb. Examples are given here. To wait seemed foolish when decisive action was required. To wait. We intended to leave early. So it is direct object. His ambition is to fly. So it is a subject complement. He lacked the strength to restrict. This is an adjective. We must study to learn. It's an adverb. Gerunds. A gerund is an action word that ends in ing and functions as a noun. So we use to add ing with the verb. Okay, action word, which means verb. For example, traveling might satisfy your desire for new experiences. So here travel is a verb and we are adding ing with that word. Okay, so here it is subject. It is related to the subject. And here it is with direct object. They do not appreciate my singing. And here subject complement is sleeping. And here spending is the object of preposition. Thank you, students.